Alright, YouTube, I got one here from NY Daily News. Women arrested after hitting Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz with drink outside town hall event. After high-profile British conservatives were doused with milkshakes by protesters in recent weeks, a Republican congressman faced similar treatment after leaving a Saturday town hall in Florida. Republican Representative Matt Gaetz was leaving an event at the Brouhaha restaurant in Pensacola when a drink was thrown from the crowd of protesters and appeared to hit him on his right arm. While it's unclear if Gaetz was actually quote-unquote milkshaked, video of the incident shows him reacting after an object enters the frame. He then turns around and points at someone in the crowd before the video ends. A Gaetz spokesperson told The Hill that, quote, if anyone assaults anyone else at a Gaetz event, they can expect to be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, end quote. The Hill also confirmed that the 35-year-old Amanda Kondratyev was detained by Pensacola police for allegedly throwing the drink. She was arrested and charged with battery, according to the reports. Gaetz responded to the incident on Twitter saying, quote, it clearly takes more than a drink to slow down a great team, end quote. Okay, so one thing I'm already seeing here, I haven't seen the video, by the way. In full disclosure, I have not seen the video. I'm assuming it's happened because NY Daily News probably wouldn't be reporting on it. I know, Syrian airstrikes, Saudi gassing his own people. Yeah, kind of finding a hole in my logic here. But I will say that if this actually did happen to Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, who is arguably one of President Trump's biggest supporters, at least in terms of rhetoric, there is in the House currently. And just as a side note here, I mean, I think that Trump probably has more friends in the House than he does in the Senate. And, I guess you guys can all, say, Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley going into beast mode, because of the Kavanaugh thing. But I think, Trump's best allies are in the House, at least currently. If this were to happen to a Democrat, this would be national news. This story is probably going to get swept underneath the rug, within a day or so. And this is from NY Daily News. I think this is kind of coming from the same type of bias that NY Post has. So, fairly far, or not far right, rather fairly right-winged, at least on the surface, even if they are controlled opposition. But if this were to happen to Booker, Harris, a Nadler, a Waters, what's the fella from a Green, Al Green, God forbid, a Hank Johnson, a Guam is tipping over, that guy. But look, if this were to happen to any of the Democrats, then this would be front page news. This is happening to Matt Gaetz. This is going to get swept quickly underneath the rug. I actually encourage President Trump to retweet about this, or at least tweet about Matt Gaetz getting milkshaked, and to maybe comment on the very blatant bias that we see in the media, the legacy media, basically going all out for the Democratic Party in a very, very blatant way. Like I said, very obvious. A lot of people can even see it. Like I said, even the Jimmy Dore crowd points out that the Democratic Party is completely protected by the legacy media, even though they don't stand for what their constituents generally do, which is very unfair. People should have a government that, at least a political party that represents them fairly, if not, accurately, or at least, seemingly accurately. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Democrat gets milkshaked, they're going to get front page news for about a week, if not more. Matt Gaetz, probably on, the side of page 5 on the newspaper, probably a one-page article. It's not like, flip to page A5 to see the rest of the article. No. Matt Gaetz is going to get like 24 hours of press coverage because of this. That's it. It happens to a Democrat, especially a minority, it's going to make front page news, especially if it's a minority. And it's just the world that we live in, man. And it's just the world that we live in, folks. We got all these people that hate Trump so much that either hate Trump or the Republican Party so much that they're willing to side with the other party that clearly doesn't have their best interests in mind. And they're fine doing it. You know, they're absolutely okay. They're fine throwing milkshakes and other beverages at politicians, especially the ones on the right wing, or the right side of the Overton window, and they're perfectly okay with Antifa basically teaming up with the legacy media and other multi-billion and multinational corporations. They're fine with that, as long as they do everything they can to impeach Cheeto Benito. It's pretty sad. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.